one would be to choose those materials and lessons with purpose, with intentionality. So, you have witnessed the skills that your child is showing you that they have, and also showing you that they don't have. And you've taken time to really analyze like the type of homeschooler, Montessori homeschooler that you feel like you are most inclined towards, and you're embracing that rhythm for yourself. And now you're really looking at the scope and sequence, the classic Montessori lessons, and you're being intentional about not which ones your child is doing, but which lessons you are giving, and what materials you are infiltrating into your environment. Yeah. So an example of this right off the top of my head would be like, say you have a 2-year-old, they're going around the house throwing things and transporting them around and picking up heavy stuff and throwing a lot of tantrums, or, just being hyper emotional like toddlers are. This is not the time to give them a tool set. Right? Like, this is,
good advice.
No nails.
No hammerings.
Right? Like, stick with the pegboard. Like, the pegs, good. Actual hammers,
not good.
Stay away, right? But once you have noticed, like, your child is craving more experiences with tools, maybe, and this is what happened with our 4-year-old, when he was ready for those kind of experience, I left the room for a minute. This is always the story with our youngest. I left the room for a minute. Who knows what I was doing? Something supervising. But when I came back out, he had gotten out your entire tool chest, found the hammer, and I think maybe a mini saw and stuff. And he had taken, himself to go out on our front steps. And he was like out there super happily trying to hammer some nails into some wood. And I was just like, what? I never taught this lesson. Where did this come from? All right. Part of it might have been because our oldest was taking woodworking
and he had
type of
seen
classes.
Modeling.
He had seen some modeling. But sometimes it's like our children's initiative themselves. Like, when they get to that stage, they will force it. And this is when we are looking at what our children are doing. We're thinking, okay, they're doing something that feels unsafe. But they're obviously showing that they're ready for this kind of work. So how can I present this work to them again in a way that is safe, that is confined, that is in a designated area, that is highly supervised, or just like thoroughly demoed.
Yep,
right?
That's right.
We could do it again with the pink tower. Say you've got a 1.5-year-old. You show them a set of blocks. All they want to do is bang it down and go, boom, yay.
Yeah.
That's not the time to give a pink tower lesson, right? Wait a little bit. And so if you're thinking about what your child is able to do, not able to do, then this is going to help you to choose the right material.
And I want to underline that before we move on, because I think a lot of parents get very anxious, especially when it comes to the reading and writing and math domains, when their child hits a certain age and they start to worry that they're not able to do something. So your example of the child, the 18-month-old knocking over the pink tower, okay, fine. But what if your child was 2.5 and they were still knocking over the pink tower? Oh no, is something wrong with my child? Probably not.
No.
Because every child is going to develop differently.
Yeah.
The child has a natural ability and a drive. It's just that example of our youngest going out and finding, like, he wanted to hammer nails into wood. He was tired of playing with the toy version.
Development is really kind of sticky. I am thinking about a moment when I was teaching in the classroom, and when I taught in the toddler classroom, it was like a mix of 18 months to 3-year-olds. Some children were still had that whole hand in their mouth sucking on it because they still had that reflex. And some children had moved on from that oral sucking need reflex and had, just moved on to other things. And what I remember being so interesting to me developmentally is that some of the younger children would lose that reflex, and then some of the older children would hang on to it and be sucking and putting things in their mouths all the way through the age of 3, and sometimes even beyond. So, there's nothing wrong with your child if they are keeping on to those babyish things for longer. It's literally just development.
Yeah, or if they're not able to make those phonetic sound, I spy, play that I spy game at whatever age you think they're supposed to.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily mean your child is not, going to be able to do it and do it normally. It just means that your child's inner light is guiding them at a different pace. Now, if over time you see other signs, this is where observation really comes in, then you start to put things together. But the important thing that I wanted to underline is don't be stuck on whatever social media or even a book might tell you. You have to start with the observation of the child and trust in your child's ability to develop, grow, and learn, that they will have an unquenchable desire to learn, to do. And you are watching for those signs.
Yes. Here's the thing that it gets so sticky, all right, for people, that some people are never able to get about Montessori, and you can see it when you go online on social media. You're like, okay, this person really gets Montessori. This person is missing the one essential thing that you have to have if you want to do Montessori right, and that is humility.
Yes.
If you aren't
Too little humility in the world as is.
Yeah, I'm running across posts on Instagram, like now that we're back on Instagram, I'm running across a lot of posts that are really braggy in a way that assumes that it's the Montessori that's doing all the work and not the child.
Yeah, like if you're not getting it, it's because you're not doing Montessori right.
Yes. My child learned to read before the age of 4 because of Montessori. Or maybe your child was just ready.
And Montessori did not invent child learning. She observed and recorded it.
Right.
I think what you're saying is so important. You see this too often. We reverse the relationship. What Montessori is doing is it's speaking to something that your child is bringing. And Montessori was really very, very clear about this. And she was very concerned about how adults will come and impose onto the child and how that can deform a child's development or slow or alter. Like, our goal is to not impose, and not just because it's good for the child, but because she felt it was good for society. Like, if we could let children grow and like stay firmer to that spark within them for longer, we would create a more just and equal world, because from that would grow love, peace, and understanding. I know it sounds kind of hokey in a way, but that is actually what she believed, and it's what I believe too. I think that children really have an amazing spark. The same thing that drives them to learn comes from somewhere beyond.
I think it's only hokey if we don't believe it.
Yeah, because I think because we become so scientifically skeptical about everything. And I love science and I love skepticism as a scholar, but we can also use it as a cudgel. And that's what I think you're getting at. Like, we're saying, like, well, the Montessori philosophy will kind of like, it's like the mold that we're going to pour the child into. That is not how it works.
If you do Montessori, your child will learn to read before the age of 4. If you do Montessori, your child will become fully independent and will be able to dress themselves by the age of 3. Like, anytime we're putting a stipulation on, the child's expectations of what they are supposed to do by a certain age, that's when we're getting away from Montessori.
Yeah.
Now, should you brag about your kids? Absolutely.
Yeah, why not?
Like, we all do it, and you should do it too.
Be proud and love your children.
Yes,
why not?
Be proud and love your kids. But be really, really careful about ascribing your child's accomplishments directly to the method that you're using to educate them with.
Yeah, and that's why I always I feel very, very motivated to remind people that the emotions and experiences that your child are not different radically from your own. That when a toddler gets frustrated, remember, you get frustrated. They are also just people, even though they're not emotionally sophisticated to the same degree. And I think too often we think of children as like lesser beings and we infantilize them, but they're human beings too. They're just on a journey. At the end of the day, you don't need a closet full of materials to teach your child. What you need are some very core and essential, versatile materials that can grow with you. That's where knowing the scope and sequence again can be very helpful because you can see what's coming and where you are.
And we break everything down by levels. So we've got levels 1 through 6.
Yeah.
They're not age related at all. They're skill based.
Yeah. So for, going back to our comment, like that idea, like a movable alphabet's going to serve you for a long time.
Yeah.
It would be an example of something where your child, given our very, very basic understanding of where your child is, like there's a lot of value to be had in that. And then setting a routine around that.
Comments again.
Definitely coming from an external idea. I struggle to learn how to read, so I just have such anxiety about it. She loves math and nature, loves being read to. I will for sure try the Easter egg thing. She loves to find things. I truly appreciate you taking time to discuss this. I am a part of the curriculum. Well, we're wonderful. I don't recognize your screen name here, but reach out to us in the community too. We're happy to discuss further within Mighty Networks.
Yeah, teaching reading is so much fun. So definitely start a post and tag me in it.
And that's a common story. It wasn't reading for me, it was math.
Yeah.
And I think for you too.
Same,
yeah. All right. Well, these are your 3 tips for your roadmap. And if you would like to, like know more about that scope and sequence, you can check us out online at childoftheredwoods.com. We have a variety of plans. The 2 ones that you probably want to think about, though, are the complete curriculum and the unlimited plan. Complete gives you the full scope and sequence. It'll teach you the rhythm and routine. It'll help you learn how to observe. It also includes our monthly studies, which are really fun. We have about 45 in our library right now. The current one is Ladybug. Next month, we're going to study Dandelions. That'll be good.
It's going to be perfect.
Yeah, and so if you join at the complete or unlimited level, you get access to all of those studies, plus the core curriculum, plus all the studies we're going to release over the next 12 months. And we've got some great ones coming, plus the planning and all the other good stuff. And you can even try it out for 7 days. If you head over to that website and go to our free trial, you can get a copy of Ladybug, see what it's all about, and kind of get to experience a bit of our community and other things and see how it could help you in your home.
That's right. We'd love to have you. That's childoftheredwoods.com.
Yeah.